Ladies, listen to me closely. If your hair is getting thinner by the day, it may not just be age. Doctors are warning us these 8 daily habits are secretly stealing the volume right off our heads, and most women over 60 are doing them without even knowing it. In this video, I'll walk you through the 8 sneaky habits you must avoid if you want to hold on to that precious hair. Stick around to the end. I saved the most common and surprising one for last. And hey, give this video a like, drop a comment telling me which habit shocked you the most, and don't forget to subscribe. Part 1. Overwashing your hair, ladies. Let me tell you a little story. When I was younger, I thought washing my hair every single day was a sign of good hygiene. That squeaky clean feeling felt like a job well done, and I know many of you still do it, lathering up with shampoo daily, maybe even twice a day after a walk or a swim. But here's what doctors are now telling us. As we get older, our scalp produces less of those natural oils that used to replenish our hair's strength and shine. Every time we overwash, we're stripping away what little moisture our scalp still creates. And when the scalp becomes dry and irritated, it sends the hair into a shedding cycle. Breakage, dullness, and that brittle straw-like texture start to appear. And suddenly, you're wondering why your hair is getting thinner. I didn't believe it at first, but I cut my washing down to 2 times a week, and on some weeks just once, using a gentle sulfate-free shampoo and a good conditioner. Within a couple of months, my scalp stopped itching, the dryness improved, and my hair felt, well, more alive. So please, don't equate cleanliness with frequency. It's about balance, not overkill. Part 2. Tight hairstyles. Yes, even the ponytail. Now let's talk about something sneaky, tight hairstyles. And no, I'm not just talking about high-fashion ponytails or tight braids. Even your average everyday bun or pulling your hair back for gardening or walking the dog can be the silent culprit behind hair thinning. I remember tying my hair up every morning before chores. I didn't think twice about it. But what I didn't realize is that this constant tension was slowly damaging the hair follicles. Doctors call it traction alopecia, and it happens when hair is pulled too tightly and too frequently. The follicles become inflamed, and in some cases, the damage is permanent. And let me be honest, at our age, we don't bounce back like we used to. Hair that falls out due to stress on the roots may not come back at all. So here's what I do now. Soft scrunchies instead of rubber bands, loose low buns instead of tight ponytails, and on most days, I just let my hair down. It's freeing, and I get more compliments now than I did when I pulled it all back. You'd be surprised how elegant and youthful you can look with a soft, natural style. Let your hair rest. It deserves it. Part 3. Using too much heat. Oh, this one hit home for me. I've always loved that polished look. You know, a good blowout, soft curls from a curling iron, or straightening for a night out. It makes us feel put together, doesn't it? But here's what we never think about. Every time we apply heat, whether it's a hot iron, a curling wand, or even a blow dryer, we're damaging the outer layer of our hair shaft, called the cuticle. And once that layer is broken, moisture escapes, leaving hair dry, brittle, and prone to breakage. What's worse is that older hair is already thinner due to hormone changes, especially after menopause, so it's far more vulnerable to heat damage than it was when we were 30. I had to learn the hard way. My hair started breaking off in little wisps, especially near the crown and sides. I blamed age until my dermatologist said, try skipping the heat for 30 days. So I did. I air dried, I wore rollers, I even let my hair be messy some days. And guess what? It got better, softer, healthier, stronger. Now, if I must use heat, I use a protectant spray and keep the heat setting low. Not medium, not high, low. It makes a huge difference, especially long term. Part 4. Ignoring nutrition. Let's be real for a moment. When we think about hair loss, we often jump straight to products, treatments, and fancy shampoos. But here's what many of us overlook. What you eat shows up in your hair. Hair is made mostly of protein, keratin to be exact, and it needs certain nutrients to grow and stay anchored in the scalp. As we age, our bodies don't absorb vitamins and minerals as well as they used to. That means we could be eating what looks like a balanced diet, but still falling short in iron, biotin, zinc, and protein. I used to live off toast, tea, and little snacks throughout the day. Easy meals, but not hair-friendly. Then my doctor ordered a blood test, and lo and behold, I was low in iron and B12. No wonder my hair was thinning like crazy. I made a few changes. I added salmon twice a week, swapped white bread for whole grains, started cracking eggs in the morning again, and threw spinach into everything. Omelets, soups, even smoothies. And I take a multivitamin now, with my doctor's okay. After a few months, not only did my hair improve, but I had more energy and fewer mood dips too. Trust me, if your diet is mostly carbs or processed snacks, your hair is going to suffer. Give it the nutrients it's crying out for. Part 5. Skipping regular scalp care. Let's have a little heart-to-heart, shall we? For years, I treated my scalp like an afterthought. I shampooed, I conditioned the hair, but the scalp never gave it a second thought. And if you're anything like me, you might be doing the same, focusing on the strands and ignoring the soil they grow from. But here's what doctors and trichologists, those are hair and scalp specialists, have made very clear. A neglected scalp is a dying garden. Build up from shampoo, dead skin, sweat, even pollution can clog your hair follicles. Over time, that slows growth and increases shedding. And if the follicles stay clogged too long, they may stop producing hair altogether. When I started massaging my scalp weekly with a bit of natural oil like rosemary or argan and using a gentle exfoliating scalp brush, I noticed something surprising. Not only did my hair feel fresher, but I had less itching, and it even looked fuller at the roots. Think of it like this. You wouldn't plant tomatoes in dry, cracked dirt, would you? So don't expect your hair to thrive on an uncared-for scalp. Treat it kindly, stimulate it, clean it properly. It makes all the difference. Part 6. Stressing out constantly. Yes, it shows in your hair. Now, let me talk to you about something we all deal with, but few of us want to admit. Stress. I used to think stress just affected my heart, my sleep, maybe gave me a few more wrinkles, but thinning hair, I had no idea. Turns out, chronic stress increases a hormone called cortisol, which can push your hair out of the growth phase and into a shedding phase much faster. Some doctors call it telogen effluvium, and it can sneak up months after a stressful event. So if you've noticed hair loss a few months after surgery, moving house, losing a loved one, or even watching the news too much, stress could be the culprit. When my husband got sick a few years ago, I was a ball of nerves. And a few months later, my hair started falling out in clumps. I thought something was wrong with me, but my doctor said, "Your body remembers the storm even after it passes." These days, I take stress seriously. I walk in the mornings, I journal in the evenings, I take deep breaths when things get hectic, and I guard my peace like a hawk. Because you know what? Your inner calm shows on the outside, especially in your hair. Part 7. Smoking, even just occasionally. Now, I know this one might ruffle some feathers, but I say it with love. If you're still smoking, even just socially, your hair is paying a heavy price. You see, smoking restricts blood flow, and your scalp, believe it or not, needs constant blood circulation to feed those tiny hair follicles. When you smoke, even once in a while, you're cutting off oxygen and nutrients to the scalp. Over time, that leads to dullness, brittleness, and yes, more thinning. One doctor told me, if you want to age 10 years faster, smoke regularly. If you want your hair to age 10 years faster, smoke occasionally. That stuck with me. I had a friend who only smoked when she drank wine. She thought it was harmless, but her hair started thinning at the crown and temples. She eventually gave up cigarettes completely, and months later, her hair began recovering. It wasn't overnight, but it was noticeable. If you've been looking for a reason to finally quit, let this be it. not just for your lungs or your heart, but for the crown you wear every single day. Part 8. Ignoring hormonal changes after menopause. Finally, let's talk about something many of us were never prepared for. What menopause does to our hair. I don't know about you, but when I hit my late 50s, I started noticing changes that had nothing to do with hot flashes or night sweats. My once thick hair began falling out around the part line. The texture changed. It was like straw some days and limp spaghetti on others. And that's because after menopause, estrogen levels drop significantly. Estrogen helps keep our hair thick, shiny, and growing. When it drops, a hormone called DHT can take over. And that's the one linked to hair miniaturization and thinning, especially in women over 60. The worst part. Most doctors don't talk about it unless you bring it up. Once I understood the connection, I spoke with my doctor about safe options. For some women, hormone therapy might help. For others, adding supplements like saw palmetto or using topical treatments like minoxidil may be enough. But doing nothing, that's not the answer. I always say, knowledge is power. Don't just assume your thinning hair is just old age. It could be hormonal, and there are things you can do. Talk to a specialist, ask questions, advocate for your hair like you would for your health. Ladies, thinning hair doesn't have to be your fate. These small changes can bring big results if you stay consistent and kind to your hair. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And before you go, I want to personally invite you to my free newsletter, The Savvy Senior. It's full of practical advice, surprising health tips, and uplifting stories for women just like you. The link is below. Go ahead and sign up today. Let's age boldly, beautifully, and with a full head of hair. See you there, darling.